Good morning. My name is Tim Ross, and I'll never forget my first time here at the Master Seminary orientation week. Our resident drill instructor, Ray Maringer, had just finished an amazing charge to us. And that's the first time I cried at the Master Seminary. And so far it's been the only one, but after that session, I went to the house where I was staying, went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror and thought, what have I gotten into? It was an amazing thing to think about, all that I had to learn, and I just remember Ray said a number of times, it's our goal to break you. That's our goal in seminary, and we will do it sooner or later. And so I made it a point at that moment to just yield myself to the Lord. I broke, I looked in the mirror and cried, and by God's grace, I've been able to stay at that place, and He's kept me there. And I know that that's what made it through seminary, is just relying on God. Just a brief note about my testimony. I was saved at a very early age. My parents were strong believers. They have been my best friends until I got married. But they were really the restraining force in my life. I think if it wasn't for my parents or for the local church, I would have never made it. I had a lot of energy and a sinner, and it just took their constant care just to make sure I didn't go astray. I'm just so thankful for that. I felt the call to ministry near the end of my college days. I too was at the University of Missouri, and really my dad's example was a big deterrent to seminary, only because he had begun full-time ministry as a pastor sometime when I was in high school, and I was there for his ordination, and I just remember watching him as he answered those questions, and I left thinking two things. One, I could never do that, and two, my dad is way smarter than I thought he was. It's just amazing. And as you get older, those moments, they come more and more. But I just saw him studying in the basement for sermons and thought, there is no way I'm going to do that with my life. This guy has given up everything for his people. But ultimately, the Lord used that to teach me that I needed training, and so that's why I came to seminary. After college, went home for a year and prayed about seminary, and I just knew I needed training. And the people at my church affirmed that I needed training, so they sent me to seminary. It's been great, though, because TMS has given me the tools that I knew I needed. I always have wanted to serve God's people, but I want to do it right. And Master Seminary has totally equipped me for that, and I'm so thankful for that. But one thing that's really defined my time here in seminary has been the involvement that I have in ministry. First semester of class, I just kind of wandered into children's ministry on a Wednesday night. That was 5 years ago. I've never left. I've been here at Grace Church serving at some level in children's ministry the whole time. Different positions, different roles, but I'm just so thankful for our leaders. The Lord's brought a pastor here recently from West Virginia. You guys may know him. And he has just really shaped me. In class, I've learned how to be a preacher, and I've liked that. But Matt's taught me how to be a pastor. And that's what I need to really serve people. I do want to mention one guy that I've served with, just a volunteer at Grace Church. He's actually here. His name's Jeff Thacker. Man, that guy has been so helpful for me because Jeff represents what Grace Church does for guys like me, guys who are young and don't have a lot of ministry experience. They take us in for 3 or 4 or 5 years. They allow us to minister alongside them. They teach us how to minister. They love us. They provide for us. And then they send us out. And Jeff is sending me out today. Well, He's kept me in seminary. This will help me to not cry. I met my wife here, and it was a blessing to meet her. She worked full-time at Grace Church when I met her, and she knew how we worked. She was single, and so she timed her breaks so that they wouldn't coordinate with our breaks, so she didn't have to see you guys, because she was afraid of meeting a TMS guy. But somehow I got to her. I found her at the church. And I even got a date. And I did the worst thing ever. The first thing I did was asked her best friend out on a date. And that didn't work out. But she still went out with me. It was just amazing. Our relationship was heading towards engagement. And I thought, we have to wait a year. I'm not ready. And I was convinced of this until I met with her pastor at Grace Church. I said, Pastor, I know I need to wait. It's going too quickly. And he goes, brother, it's time. And he's about 6'7", so if you can think back a couple years, about 4 years ago, and he goes, "This is how much I know you need to marry this girl, all right?" He stands up, he's towering above me, takes out his wallet, and starts throwing bills on the table. He goes, "Whatever's in my wallet is the down payment for her engagement ring." The bills kept falling out. And I told this story to someone recently, and they said, "Did you take the money?" Yeah, I took the money. I'm picking them up as he's throwing them down. He introduced me to another guy that he knew, a gentleman who I cannot name, who helped me get a ring. And I told him what I wanted, an engagement ring. And he actually brought it. I never looked at it. He just met me over here in the Welcome Center and showed it to me. And it was awesome. And I said, "How much is it?" He goes, "Well, how much do you got? What do you think it's worth?" I don't know. I said, "How about this?" And I just said a number. He goes, "Yeah, that'll work." So I was able to afford a ring, and we got married pretty quickly. It went pretty fast, but I was a fool, Julia, to think that I should wait to marry you. I don't know what I was thinking. She's been my joy through all of seminary. You know, I can hear her before I get in the door saying to our son, "Daddy's home, Daddy's home." That's where it's at. Just one quick thing, because I got to wrap up, but God's met our every need. Before our son was born, Julia got really sick. She had a full-time job, but she was not able to work. And so we were considering just pulling out of seminary. During that time, God provided a friend of mine who gave me $700 and then gave me money every week. Someone brought me a bag of dress clothes. Meals kept showing up. The TMS administration just wouldn't let me go. They kept me here. And then we had set a date to where if this date came and we didn't have a job, we were going to pull out of seminary and leave. And 2 weeks before, I got a full-time job. Just amazing. Lord's provided every step of the way. As we look to the future, we want to go to full-time pastoral ministry. I want to serve God's people. We don't know where that's at yet. We're just trusting Him. But I have the tools that I need for my time at seminary, and I have the desire to serve from the men that have shaped me and molded me, and I want to be faithful. That's what we're called to.